it's people not recognizing you as like a person. It's people refusing the reality of your identity.
Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Breanna Protest. You can call me BrEE. Today I have Carrie. She is my friend from school. Say hello.
Hello, how's it going?
And we're going to be talking really briefly about intersectionality. I think it's an important topic to talk about, especially right now during Pride Month. Obviously, the Black History Month has passed. We had Women's History Month, so it's a very important topic to talk about. And yeah, so if you like this channel, this stuff like this, give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll get right into it. So intersectionality, it's basically just where you stand in society. So you have race, you have political standing, even sexuality, gender, class, so your economic, stuff like that. It all plays into a role of where you stand, and being where your intersectionality is, you can have, privileges that some people might not have, and you can also have disadvantages as well. So that's why it's very important to kind of understand that.
Yeah, and I also think it's I think more than anything, it's important to recognize intersections and advocate and fight for people, across these intersections. I come from, I do a lot of work with different leftist groups, and there are quite a few people that kind of boil everything down to just class and everything. But in order to really kind of understand the way all these different identities interact and face discrimination, it helps you need to be able to unite people across these different struggles.
Yes. And I know a good example is sometimes when I talk to lower class white males, they always go, I don't have white privilege because I'm lower class. And it's understanding intersectionality helps with that, because you still can witness, understand that you have the white privilege, but understand that you do have that disadvantage by being lower class, and you can work through that and help your peers out who may not have that white privilege, but also ask for help, or other people who aren't in the lower class can help you out because you are in that situation. So understanding that, it really helps. It really helps. So the first question, or the first topic, is how does it manifest in daily life? And I guess how would your experiences, how does intersectionality for you manifest in your daily life?
I guess I didn't say it in the intro, but I am a trans woman. I am a lesbian. I am white. So there are obviously different places where I encounter inequality, and sometimes where obviously I recognize that there are privileges that I encounter. So specifically when it comes to being queer, it starts. I think the most visible place is a lot of just different microaggressions people face. There's the bit of surprise when you tell someone you can be trans and gay at the same time.
Yes.
And I've gotten hit with that one before. It's why don't you just, if you're gonna be trans and a lesbian, why not just be a straight guy? And that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Because there's even an intersection between gender and sexuality that obviously different. They're two different things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And of course, I would like to be able to use the bathroom. Just let me use the bathroom, please.
I just need to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
And even there's I'm not sure if you've been kept up to date about it, but recently in Lee County, there's been a huge push by some conservatives to pull back a lot of like protections for trans students in Lee County schools. And the school board has not done a good job in protecting them. They've really buckled a lot to pressure of a very loud, small group of people, which is very unfortunate. But there's a lot of great people doing work to try and help out the students, and the students themselves are amazing.
Oh yeah, our generation and the younger generation, they are on top of it.
You gotta be, because it's especially in the context of being trans, like it's very much, it's not just fighting for equality. It's fighting for like the right to exist. You know what I mean? Yes. It's people not recognizing you as like a person. It's people refusing the reality of your identity and substituting their own narrow-minded one.
It's just really weird how like history repeats itself, because like we've been through this bathroom thing with like race relations, and we've been through all this before, and we fixed it, and we're doing it all over again, but to another group of people.
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of intersectionality. It's that like, capital, the way it functions is there to, it needs like a scapegoat. It needs people it can blame. It needs people it can force into lower conditions. It needs people it can have do the work that it needs to be done, but they don't want to pay people for. And as long as the system remains the way it is, it'll continue. And that's why we need to remain vigilant. Say the second they finally allow rainbow capitalism to take its place, and queer people are allowed to just exist relatively safely, then they'll just find a new group of people to single out, target, or maybe start a cycle again. I don't know. I don't know where it ends with them.
How does social context influence our perceptions of race, class, and gender? So I think we were getting into that, kind of just basically like whoever capital picks that is the scapegoat and is bad, everyone's like, yep, they suck, they don't deserve things, and it's just like this cycle that just keeps going on. And like I said, we like the bathroom situation, there used to be a colored bathroom and a white's bathroom, and a colored drinking fountain and a white's drinking fountain. Now it's like, oh, transgenders cannot use bathrooms, we might have to make a transgender bathroom. And it's like, we've been through this before. We've been through this. So it's just like a cycle that keeps happening, and it influences people to just direct their hate towards one group of people, and they're validated in that.
Yeah, it's like a deliberate attempt to try and break solidarity and intersectionality. About if a person boils everything down to just like class, they fail to see the intersections of where class and race and gender and sexuality, they all meet. And you have to help people out at those intersections. I think something that I think a huge thing is, for example, of where these intersections and why it's so important to recognize these is the case with Black trans women.
Yes.
Who are disproportionately affected, not just by they're disproportionately affected by violence. Because they fall into so many of these intersections and are not given the help they need, whether it be at home or whether it be within queer spaces. They face much higher rates of homelessness and violence, and that's something that we need to recognize the intersections and all come together to sort of try and fix some of these problems.
And Yeah, the Black trans women. I remember we did a topic on that. It was for Black History Month, I believe, and it's just really sad to see that. Like you said, it is a good like example of how intersectionality does affect people, but it's a really sad example as well. The last one is, how does it relate to like home and family life? And I think what first pops to mind is like people can't really come out, like sexuality, gender wise, they really can't come out in a lot of homes because of violence. It must be so scary to have to like hide yourself. And I know like it's like sometimes it's like a joke to people like, oh, you've been in the closet, but it's like sometimes that's just the safest place for someone to be is to hide.
If it's I can share my story with coming out.
Yeah.
It's not a happy story, admittedly, but there's a bit of a silver lining at the end. I've known I was trans since like sophomore year of high school. I was and I didn't tell my parents or anything about that. I mostly just like, my friends, my girlfriend, through all that, all throughout high school. But I started going to FGCU. I started going to college. And I started, being able to like introduce myself as Carrie, and be seen for who I am. And that was so like liberating to me, that like one day, like I think I was like 2 weeks into college, and I was like, this is too great. I can't go on like living in the closet after all this. And so I think it was like Labor Day or something, or it was some like holiday. I was off school, and I go and visit my mom, and I'm like, hey, I gotta talk to you about this. And she was accepting. She was like, we just gotta talk to your dad about it. So we make plans to like a few days from then, we go talk to my dad. My parents are divorced.
Mine are too. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we drive separately because I'm coming from college and she's coming from where she lives. And so we're gonna meet up at this time. And I get there and my mom's already there. And in the time between me getting there, or my mom getting there, me getting there, my dad had, my mom had told my dad tried to like ease everything, and he had like threatened to like take my car away, threatened to like cut me off completely, like financially, anything like that. And I was a freshman, I didn't know how to like provide for myself or anything. And so I didn't know any of this going in. So I sit down, I come out to him, and he's just like, how do you know? And I tried answering. He's like, I don't believe you. And I was like, oh my, I don't know where to go with this. I looked at my mom, and she's just like, she's scared for me. It was a rough time. And all I could think is like, I just needed to get out of there. But like, if I leave, then it looks like I'm admitting something. And so I just had to sit there, as I was told my identity was incorrect, or something weird or alien. And I just had to drive all the way back from Naples to FGCU, just with that in my head. And so over time, I've had more talks with my mom about it. And my mom kind of like, my mom still feels like terrible about it. But she's been really, really great about helping me out, and trying to get more of that independence, I guess. So did I have a good time? No. Was it important for me as a person and for my own growth and being able to like, if I can do that, I can come out to Joe Schmo, who's like dropping something off. I can, because life is just coming out. a whole bunch of times when you're queer. It's just constantly coming out to new people. You never come out once and you're done. But that one, and this isn't to say that everyone should come out to their parents at like right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes ever, because they just won't understand. And yeah, there is a real threat of harm. I felt safe enough, perhaps a bit too safe, but you know, my mom, I really appreciate my mom. You know, she's done a lot to try and make up for that since then. But I know I'm a very lucky case. Even there's a lot of kids who just get kicked out.
Yeah.
They get completely cut off. You know, regardless of whether they try and like recant or anything. That's a very real concern, and this plays into that intersection where young queer people are disproportionately like debilitatingly poor because we get cut off from our families and any sort of support networks. Yeah, and it's rough, but I still feel like it was the best move for me.
Yeah.
And I really don't regret it.
Yeah.
A whole long story, but
No, it's a good story. It's a good story. But now you get to just be you. You don't have to like go home and pretend.
With my mom at least.
Yes.
I had a really great. I got to like, because that's been sort of like a slow process, but it's been getting better. Like I finally got to go like have lunch with my mom and my grandma and my girlfriend. And that was just such like we were just like, I got to be me and my girlfriend got to be her. And it was such a great time just hanging out, you know, with family, because all you want from your family is love and support. Mm-hmm. And you get really scared about losing that when you come out. But I've been really lucky to have at least some of that.
And also you have like GSA too, is like an extended family. And I know like a lot of queer kids don't have that like extended family too. So you have like, there's like a lot of support going
on. And I will say, you bring up like chosen family. Mm-hmm. Family is is like all throughout queer history. Queer people have come together to find community and you know and family where we wouldn't get it at home. Like I've done whole presentations about this. You know, cowboys used to be overwhelmingly queer because it was out there. They could start new lives, be who they want to be. Even more recently, like for example, have you ever seen Pose?
Yes, of course.
So yeah, of course. A lot of ballroom culture, and especially like early drag culture, was really centered around chosen families, and being there for each other. And I think that's kind of the most beautiful thing about the queer community is the community part, and how you know, as much as there are some rough people in our community, some people that would really like to drop some T's. It's like ultimately we're all here for each other, and I think that's something that when it comes to intersectionality is something that we need to extend out. You know, we all need to be here for each other.
Mm-hmm. At home, I know, like also for Black queer people, it's really difficult. That's like another intersectionality. We talked about Black transgender women, but also just like Black queer people in general. Mm-hmm. It's the Black community is very heavily like into religion, Christianity, and it's very toxic for a lot of Black queer people to come out as anything, you know. And that also like just having like the, I guess it's like the scariness or like the indoctrination of like this is bad, like this is like no, you know what I'm saying? And I've been to the amount of like Black churches I've been to and stuff like that, and being surrounded, like that's beaten into you, like this is terrible, don't do it, you're going to hell. You know, and it's that's like another intersectionality that I think a lot of people overlook. You know, And then there's also like a lot of like racism too sometimes in the LGBT community,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me. But like I don't know, like it's just like so much intersectionality that I feel like if people could just like really understand it and really understand a lot of problems would be fixed, because it'd be like, oh, okay, that's why, you know what I mean? Like I see where you are, I understand now, like you know what I mean? It's just a lot.
Yeah. But it's a lot with good reason to be a lot.
Yes.
You know, we get so focused on like I don't know, we inhabit certain spaces that are dedicated to certain parts of our identity. That doesn't mean that that's, you know, because a person's not made up of just one thing. We're so many different things, and I think that's kind of what's beautiful about people, is the fact that we're all completely unique in some way. And I think, you know, we inhabit certain circles, but we're always still there in that little Venn diagram of everything. And I think it's recognizing not just the people in the middle of that diagram, but also the fact that there are intersections, the fact that there are, you know, none of these things are mutually exclusive. And I think that's something that so I do not to speak all the time. I'm sorry, but I do a lot of work with DSA, the Democratic Socialists of America, and part of what I really like about DSA is the you know, the goal and dedication towards making spaces you know, intersectional and diverse, because you can't fix the world on your own.
Yes.
And you certainly can't you can't fix the world on behalf of others, especially because, you know, you can only know so much, you can only have so much experience, and so I think creating spaces that are deliberately intersectional and deliberately diverse brings out the best in everyone, and also gives us the best opportunity to sort of, you know, raise ourselves up.
I agree. I'll put all the organizations that you shout out in the description, but I know like the basic ones like Trevor's Project. Really like them. Do you have any ones?
So of course, FGCU GSA.
Yes.
We have Visuality Florida. They're always doing amazing things, especially here in Southwest Florida. Our local pride groups, we have Southwest Florida Pride, Naples Pride. They're not just doing, like, it's not just the Pride festivals. They're also doing tons of stuff in our community, doing great things. With regards to the stuff in Lee County that I was talking about,
yes.
There's a coalition going on right now. It's the Southwest Florida Coalition, for trans youth, or I want to say or LGBTQ youth. I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I will put the exact name. I'll send you the exact name.
We'll have it in the description. We got it.
Yeah. So sorry to everyone in that coalition. Of course, Southwest Florida DSA and Florida Gulf Coast University YDSA. I'm the co-chair of that one.
Yes.
You know, I think we're up to great stuff, and we really would like more people, and especially people dedicated to intersectionality and intersectional work. Yeah.
And then I just got the basics ones, you know, NAACP of FGCU's chapter. We got BSA if you want to support like small, another small Black organization on my campus. And yeah. So thank you so much, Carrie, for coming on.
Yeah.
It was great to have you, and thank you everyone for watching. Again, hit that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Leave a comment. If you guys have any like other organizations, drop them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.